We know millions of you are watching tonight indoors and trying to escape this toxic air outside. In fact, 115 million Americans across 16 states tonight under hazardous air warnings and alerts. All of this from the Canadian wildfires. This system locked in place, bringing toxic smoke down into the U.S. like a conveyor belt. Tonight here in New York City, the mayor now urging everyone in the city to stay inside if you can. The images are just stunning, the before and after. This is the before, the EarthCam webcam at the top of the Empire State Building, looking toward Brooklyn just 3 days ago. And this is the view tonight. The city's air quality today, the index that measures this, the worst in the world now. Limited visibility affecting flights into New York. This plane landing at LaGuardia today. Ground stops for a time at all airports in the New York area, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. too. New York's famous landmarks nearly invisible through the haze. Look at this tonight. You can barely see the Statue of Liberty there. The Chrysler Building with the orange sky behind it. Outside Grand Central Station, a man wearing a mask to protect against the toxic air. In fact, so many now wearing masks again. Yankee Stadium is empty tonight. Major League Baseball has postponed games in New York and Philadelphia. And look at the map tonight. Over the next 24 hours, the smoke will continue to drift slowly down through the Northeast, the I-95 corridor, for days. The deepest red's there, the most concerning. The red area is considered unhealthy. The darkest purple and maroon there on the map labeled hazardous. That's of the highest concern tonight. This evening, the White House pressed on this situation, calling this another alarming example of the climate crisis. Rob Marciano timing this out. When does the system locked in place finally shift? And ABC's Trevor Ault leading us off here from New York.
Tonight, New York City's skyline looking a lot like Mars. As that massive, ominous plume of wildfire smoke pours over the border, millions of Americans are feeling its effects. From New York City to Philadelphia and D.C. and as far south as North Carolina and Georgia. Officials now warning families to stay indoors even if they're healthy.
Everybody, I don't care if you're 15, 55, or 85, everybody should be avoiding outdoor activities.
The images are stunning. The sun shrouded as it rose above Manhattan this morning. At Tuesday's Yankees game, stadium lights illuminating the thick haze. Late today, officials postponing tonight's games in New York and Philadelphia. This time-lapse from EarthCam showing conditions growing even worse through the day, lower Manhattan blanketed in orange. New York City now registering the worst air quality of any major city in the world. The air quality index, which is scaled from 1 to 500, with above 150 deemed unhealthy. This afternoon, New York City topped 400. By comparison, today Delhi, India was around 160, Shanghai, China was around 125. The hazardous air here extending upstate to cities like Syracuse. So many once again donning the same masks they'd worn through the pandemic.
This could kill us. This could literally kill us.
These are very, very fine bits of matter that can get inhaled very deep into your lung tissue.
New York's governor calling this an emergency crisis. And New York City's mayor urging the entire city to stay indoors.
This is not the day to train for a marathon or to do an outside event with your children.
The effects of breathing in the smoke's toxic particulates continuously are comparable to smoking up to a half a pack of cigarettes or more. And emergency rooms, worried about the cumulative impact from days of dangerous air, are now preparing for potential patients.
The more exposure folks have, the more likely it is that they'll be sick.
The low visibility even delaying flights in and out of New York City area airports. At one point, the average flight to LaGuardia delayed nearly 2 hours. More than 6 million acres have already burned in what's shaping up to be Canada's worst fire season on record. The White House today pressed on the situation.
It is yet another alarming example of the ways in which the climate crisis is disturbing our lives and our communities.
And with hundreds of fires still burning out of control, that smoke will just keep coming.
And David, we just heard from New York City's mayor just moments ago. He reiterated the importance of trying to stay indoors and said if you have to go out, it's a good idea to have a mask. And we mentioned that air quality index, the 1 to 500 scale. Well, the mayor revealed this afternoon New York City topped out at 484. David?
Well, that's just incredible. Trevor and the team, come on back inside. Thank you for that, Trevor. Let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano, of course, timing this out for us. And Rob, this system appears to be stuck in place here for days.
Yeah, that's the problem, David. I mean, these are difficult to predict as it is. We typically need a big system to clear things out, and we're just not getting it. So we still have these alerts that are up for 16 states. There you see it. These are issued daily, so they'll probably be re-upped tomorrow. And here's that blocking pattern you mentioned, the omega block, that H you see in the flow around it looks like the Greek letter omega. That one is a tough one to break down, and we've had it for days. We're going to have it for a couple more days, and the flow around the front side of that brings that smoke down from Canada. So this is our smoke simulation, and the red dots, that's the actual ground measurements of unhealthy, very unhealthy, or hazardous air in places like Hartford, New York City, Scranton, Syracuse, and back through Philly, and probably D.C. tomorrow. You see the flow kind of brings things down I-95 tomorrow in the morning. Our nation's capital could be shrouded. And then the backside of this continues to bring things down on Friday for places like Pittsburgh and, say, Dayton, Ohio. So a lot of this smoke, in spots, David, at least, will be with us through the weekend.
All this is fascinating and alarming, Rob. In the meantime, I want to go back to the actual fires in Canada driving all of this. And there isn't even a drought in Canada where these fires are already burning, which, of course, is even more concerning that we're dealing with this so early in the season, not even with a drought.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had some heat the past couple of weeks, and obviously this early in the spring we've got some fuel, so that hasn't helped much. And certainly climate change with the extra warmth, you can certainly link wildfires being amplified by that. There's also some studies that claim that these blocking patterns are exacerbated by climate change as well. What we also know for fact is that 50% of the people in Canada, 50% of the fires in Canada are started by people. That number is even higher here in the States. So that is a very bad combination for a huge chunk of North America.
Yeah,
David?
We all have to be extremely careful in these times. Rob Marciano, thank you for that tonight.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.